Hi guys, thank you so much for purchasing my October tier. I made a quick voiceover tutorial on this. You install the swatches and patterns with a double click when you have Photoshop opened up, and then you have them imported already. So I made a quick sketch from the Van Gogh painting Starry Nights, and I want to show you how I paint this in my way with using the patterns and my brush set. So sorry, this is a bit only half to see, but I made a mistake doing the record that I didn't notice, and then it was too late. I cannot record it again, so I already painted it, so super sorry for this. But I think you get the main thing. You can see what I'm doing here. I use the pattern brush, click each pattern on with the imported pattern set from me, and then you can just throw in the basic colors so far. For reference, I used my painting on the wall because I just looking right to this painting at my desk, so I just looked it up on the wall. Yeah, I threw in all the colors quickly with my patterns, and they already have this color dynamic to it. And yeah, you start just with the big shapes. So we do the small stuff in a step later. So I'm sorry for the background noises. My son is watching a movie. It was the only way to get some time recording this because, yeah, it's flu season and he's at home. Yeah, so I grabbed the different color patterns and just throw in the colors like I imagined them. I know this isn't an exactly copy of the Van Gogh painting, but that was not my intention. I just wanted to give it a personal touch. So this set is very useful if you just want to paint in the Van Gogh style something. I highly recommend for this doing some kind of still life or landscape, and then do a sketch, and then use the brush set patterns like I showed them here, because it's a very easy way. You will see later why. So I'm adding in the warms, the oranges. I like this tone. It's very contrasty to the blue. I'm sorry, I'm having a bit sniffy voice. My nose is running too. We are all kind of sick at home at the moment, and the whole primary school of my son too. But that's just by the way. Yeah. So I made a foreground layer and made the big tree that's in the front. I just do one layer, but or two layers, I think, just to separate this a bit. And when you look away, now that I'm recording it and I look away from it, it looks a bit like blurred this way, but you will see later it's we get its typical impressionistic style. And I think this is a very easy way of getting this effect and doing this. So when people see this, they think you have put so much work into it, but yeah, you put work into it, but it's not overly complicated. I now do the city with the lasso tool. I think I'll get very loose in the city part. It's also because the painting is still a bit away and my eyes are not the best, but I'll just do a bit freestyle. Anyhow, we don't want to have an exact copy of this, would be a bit boring. So here I'm just doing the basic city layout with some white. Yeah, you can play around with these patterns. I made them all from Van Gogh paintings, but I changed the dynamics and saturation a bit of the colors and modified them. So you see you have all these beautiful color swatches and patterns. By the way, what you can also do is there's a file with the patterns transparent in PNG. If you just do it into Photoshop and use the mixer brush tool over these and stamp it. You have a nice creamy watercolor, acrylic, oil paint-like structure on the wet paint brush, and you can paint with this too. You will see me as soon as the basic colors are all in, just using the mixer brush on the end, and that's the big trick or so. Yeah, so we have now blocked in everything with the basic colors, and we have a lot of dynamic already going on, but it's not finished. There's a lot. The detail is missing, like Van Gogh does it with the small strokes. And we are doing this, achieve this effect with the wet brush. So you use my brushes that are not marked as with a little brush over their brush, that have no extra function on them. You can go to the wet brush settings, as you can see, and then use them in a you use dry heavy load, not the wet. I accidentally started with the wet, but you set it to dry heavy load, and then sample all layers, and then work over it. Always sample from the canvas, and then try to copy the best you can the Van Gogh style with the small strokes as seen in the original painting. And what is easy for Photoshop, if you make one layer out of all layers, I did this, I copy pasted it over all, so then the Photoshop works easier with the wet brush function. Yeah, you can see what I'm doing. Always color picking with Alt and load the brush and then move around. Copy the strokes Van Gogh made. I went totally loose later on in this, but yeah, that's the impressionistic way to go. Make these small strokes, and you just color pick them, load them on the brush set, and put them on a canvas again and again until you're finished. So it took me half an hour, the whole painting. I think it looks quite nice. It's working. It has this impressionistic style, so you can go from there so many ways. You can just try to paint an animal like this, or some flowers, or whatever you would like to have in this style. You can play around with these. And I promise to make more swatches and patterns with each month. So I will upgrade these things, add more content in, and more, especially more patterns. So we have more rainbow colors going on. But I want to have this all a bit organized by themes. So we just have here the color palette from Van Gogh, and we stay in this. So you can work more desaturated if you like. It's a bit my style to go for this very dynamic saturated look. But you don't have to, of course. The patterns and swatches themselves are a bit more desaturated. So you don't have to worry about that. But I play a lot around. So I just try to copy all these strokes. It's really a bit trying to copy the style, the brush style. The small strokes. And you can learn a lot of this, and you can also, I noticed this, that you can incorporate these things in your illustrations, concept works. Yeah, you don't have to do it like this way when you're doing something like, I don't know, for detailed illustration, whatever, but you can just give, if you like it, you can give it a bit, you can copy this a bit into your paintings, the style at least. That's what I like. You don't have to, of course, but it's always interesting. I saw this with many more famous artists. Anyhow, you learn something with doing studies from the old masters in different ways. So thank you so much for listening. I talked over the painting a bit, and thanks so much for your support. And I wish you a nice day, and see you on the next tier.